So as we wait for others to join, if you would like to share in the chat which aspects of the natural world are with you now or near you. So with you in the same room where you are, or just outside the window, or near you. Like, for example, I have 15 minutes bike ride to reach the closest river, which is River Adda for me, part of my ecological family. And just underneath here, there is a wonderful maple tree, which is again part of my extended ecological family. So, which other aspects can we mention that we can acknowledge as part of this human community? So, okay, somebody's off camera. Yeah, if you would like to mention which aspects of nature, of the natural world are around you. Okay, the base of the Rocky Mountains. Ah, yes. And we have the Alps, like I think 1 hour drive north from where I live. I have the Alpine Arc. So let's see. Karen lives on a 5 mile penny exclave surrounded by water on three sides. The beaches, sunrises, and sunsets are just a short bike ride away. How wonderful. And who else is with you in your space or in the surroundings? Cinzia is a 10 minutes walk from Lago Maggiore in Switzerland, so we're not that far away. And I have many local stones I gathered to use in my mosaic studio. How wonderful. Oh yes, you make me recall that I also have some things from my travels, and let me share. It's these shells, some of which are, like you can see, very, very big. And these all come from the Persian wolf, which unfortunately um, is not living a very good moment, let's say. So let's see if there's any other aspect of the natural world that we can include in our conversation tonight. A tree oak tree, tree friend, just in the park outside my home. The hill's 10 minutes away, and my dog is with me tonight. Yes, and my cat too. And if you're going to enroll in any of my courses, she will certainly appear and be a part of the journey as well. Um, and the hills 10 minutes away, my dog, yes. Then Vladimir, I'm also in the Alps. In the surroundings, I have beautiful snowy mountains and I see Ala Creek. Which part of the Alps are you, Vladimir? I'm curious. Sara Marzo, two lovely cats with me and beautiful southern Italy coast and countryside. Wonderful. So the very opposite of Italy from where I live. Great place. Greta, I'm next to Constance Lake, seeing it from my window. How beautiful. There is beautiful lake nearby for Alexander and woods around me. And Vladimir is between Trento and Verona, Vallagarina. I know those places very well. I've been working in Trentino for many years. Okay, so we can just acknowledge all these aspects of nature that we mentioned. And if you would like to even just for a moment close your eyes and imagine all these aspects somehow part of the webinar tonight, and also imagine, visualize in your mind that we are a community gathering from many different places in the world, even from the United States and Europe and other places. And it's like creating this web of connections between us humans and also with the natural world. And so we are co-participating all together. And then we can just open our eyes and have a look at each other in the screen and acknowledge. And we see white names on black backgrounds, but also a lot of faces and eyes. And thank you for joining me and taking time to stay with us together this evening or morning, or depends on where you are, to share something, to share what? To share something meaningful about a possible way to stay with ourselves, with other humans, and with nature. And to understand the purpose, the strict purpose of this webinar for me tonight is really introduce you into the philosophy that we've developed over the past few years around the possible intersections between coaching, nature, body, contemplative practices, and how these can be both something that we work on for ourselves and also that we use for our work with our clients. So I will present all this, and we will also listen some experiences of past participants in our courses. We have here Paola Fabbri and Sara Marzo, who will share aspects of their work, of their identity, and also of how they are integrating the ecosomatic approach, coaching with body and nature, in their work, spreading incredible seeds all over Europe and beyond. So I'm really grateful for your presence here, and you will listen from them soon. So let me start recording this webinar. So just in case a lot of people tonight are not attending, so they will probably watch the recording. And yeah, it seems like it's recording. Yes. Strangely, it didn't announce with the sound. Anyway, let me share some slides for you so we can begin to dig into this presentation. I will start by introducing my experience and my background. Because part of our philosophy that we teach to the persons who join our courses and want to become a coach or a group coach, so working either with individuals or groups, we have this philosophy of the coach or the facilitator of group experiences as a container. So whatever, just like a vase, with the shape it has, with the colors it has, and the material it's made of, gives a certain shape to the water it contains. So whatever we are, whoever we are, gives shapes to the experience that other people do with us, either in individual or group coach or group sessions. So for me, it's interesting to know the background of a certain facilitator, so I can understand already what that container will look like, which experiences are part of the fabric of that relational space that will be set up. So I'm sharing just a slide and will briefly comment it to share with you where this project of the Nature Coaching Academy comes from. Part of my background, okay, let's move a bit on. Yeah, so I am a professional certified coach, a member of the International Coaching Federation, but my journey towards coaching, I think, begins when I was still studying philosophy at the university for my master's degree. And for me, Socrates is like the first coach, official, at least, coach, even though it was not named like that. So the Greek philosopher had this approach to self-discovery and self-inquiry that is really, really close to what coaching is. And we talk about him as well during our courses, because it's really like a foundational aspect relating to wanting to know, to raise our self-awareness and wanting to know exactly the essence of the things that we are engaging with. Since even before I was graduating in philosophy, I always had a passion for learning. And sometimes I like to say that I didn't have a boyfriend for so many years, and that gave me so much free time that I could invest in learning a lot and traveling all over the world to do amazing workshops, which is what I loved to do. Also, I always like to say to keep my mental sanity because I had a parallel career as a manager after the university. I was hired in a company where I stayed for 19 years. And so to keep my mental sanity, I really needed, just for fun, it was not that crazy. It was a good experience, but working in a company, I think requires, especially today, some kind of other balancing practices so that you can keep your connection with yourself. And so, starting from even before the university, I started cultivating practices that allowed me to connect with my body, Zen meditation, and all kinds of deep nature connection practices that today we may call mindfulness or forest bathing. And at the time, there were no words for what I was doing and practicing with my teachers and mentors. So for 20 years, I was inside the company, developing my role in human resources management, learning and development, and so on, which gave me a lot of skills relating to either self-confidence and understanding the organizational world from within. So that now this is all part of the value that I offer as a coach. And in 2015, I was really building my freelance career a lot. So I was gradually transitioning out of my corporate career, and that was when I started embracing the idea of setting up a coaching academy, because I was doing a lot of consulting as well, and mentoring and coaching, and so. I really was looking for a way to package all the various courses, the eco-psychology, ecotherapy certificates, the art of mentoring with John Young, the trainings in neuroscience and practice of organic work, and many, many things that we will practice together as well, because the Nature Coaching Academy is really like the integration of all these experiences that I did for more than 20 years. And so at a certain time in 2019, I finally started this experience, started to test and try how could I transfer to others, how could I invite others into this deeper layer of experience that I was practicing with nature. How could I find a way to communicate and mentor others into what I had found so far, such a depth and in my relationship with nature and through my body. So this was all part of the questions that gave rise to the Nature Coaching Academy. And when I started in 2019, the program was really different, because what I now offer today is really the result of all the work that we did with all the participants who joined the courses over the past years. I couldn't craft the program that we offer today without the support and the contribution, not just of the people who joined the courses, but also of the places that we have been together. Moving on, there is like my background, the expertise, and so on, but especially the relationship that I cultivated with special ecological beings and relatives, I will say. The most significant, perhaps, being that is a part of this journey is my apple tree, this one. And if you join the workshops, it's very likely that you will meet him. It's near where I live, in the property of my parents. And this was really the onset of me understanding that a different relationship with myself, with others, and the planet is possible. So what this tree taught me is really how to be fully with myself, while at the same time being with another being. And this being made me curious about how to enable different states of consciousness and perception, which I call ecosomatic states of consciousness, because they are really about creating this bridge between me and nature, dissolving the boundary that seemed to divide myself, my body, from the body of the planet. And when I entered those states of deep unity, I would say cosmunity, it's in those moments that something inside of me understands how to resolve that problem that my brain is crashing upon since a few days ago. And it's in those moments of deep presence, deep listening, when I'm with nature, with myself in this deep way, that I finally see the right decision I have to make on that topic, which was making me confused and uncertain. And suddenly something becomes clear and I grasp the right perspective. So this is for me also the link between practicing contemplation, embodiment, and nature connection, and ethics and coaching, which should be a process to enable a certain kind of progress and growth. And so for me, this becomes easy, sustainable, I would say. So it becomes easy. The process of growing and taking the right decisions or seeing the problems in the right perspectives becomes easy when I'm in those states, because something inside of me can see clearly, opens up, zooms out. So this is the connection for me, which was not so clear when I started practicing with other people, but now it's exactly the core that we love to teach. More recent mentors, Aunt Ada, I call her Aunt because, I don't know, that's the kind of relationship that I have with this river, feels really like an aunt. And other places that are now a part of my extended ecological family. This is where the end of August workshop will take place. So it's in the Alps in Camonica Valley. And there are very magical stories regarding my relationship with this place and how these places found me, because this is the truth, I think. And so, again, these places are really forging me and myself and I think my future in a very peculiar way that I'm still discovering. I'm still researching how exactly. And this is the Wolf Valley, which is where I live now. It's really called the Wolf Valley, and it's kind of funny because I have always loved wolves and I have always considered them like beside cats, because I'm a cat person, I'm also a wolf person, I think, because I really love wolves. And Women Who Run with Wolves is really a book that made my life. It made me really change a lot. And then I married a wolf. But because my husband, who is human, I want to reassure you, I didn't marry a real animal wolf. He's a person, a human being, but he's part of a band called the Wolves. And so incredibly. And then I found this house, the house of my heart, and beside this other one, and I discovered after buying it that it's in the Valley of the Wolf. So I said, okay. And this is also why the group of the alumni, the past participants of the Nature Coaching Academy, I call them the Wolf Pack, Branco in Italiano, because I don't know, there is such a sense of community in the concept of the wolf pack, that it's exactly one of the things that I most want to build among the participants in our courses. This sense of belonging, of protecting each other, sharing with each other. So the wolf is really like a totemic animal for the Nature Coaching Academy. Last passage on this topic, which I would call the roots of the work that we do, is citing the mentors, the teachers I trained with, and the two most relevant persons who really influenced me are Maya Cornacchia, teacher of practice of organic work, which is really a deep contemplative embodied practice and that really informs lot of the things that I offer and do. And also sensitive dancing with Claude Coldy. These are the two practices that really inform very deeply what I've practiced for over 2 decades. And then the other many mentors and teachers I trained with, so John Young with the Deep Nature Connection mentoring network comprising tens of thousands of people all over the world. Andrea Olsen, Karen McHose, whose definitions of the relationship between earth, body, and place are foundational in our work, and I cannot recommend them enough. Tara Moore for everything regarding leadership and also coaching a lot. She really influenced me a lot. Monica Gagliano, which I have met very recently in 2021 and became really like a person that completely changed the way I perceive plants and interact with them and perceive their identity and subjectivity. We will speak about all these people during the courses because I think it's really important to honor the mentors and where the work comes from. And so I really want to acknowledge that a lot of things I took from these people, including Otto Scharmer and Theory U. And the biomimicry from the Biomimicry Institute and Biomimicry 3.8, the workshops I did with them. Chandra Livia Candiani is a very famous Italian poetess. And her two books are like the two foundational books of our courses. I would say she's a Buddhist, a poetess, and a philosopher, I think. And what she writes is really so beautiful. And the poetry is really a state of being more and more for myself. And so we love to spread this love for a poetic way to be in the world and with the world. And she's really a model for that. And then Stefano Mancuso is part of the master's degree I took after philosophy at the University of Florence. And he's like a world-renowned scientist studying plant intelligence, and Stefano Mancuso and Monica Gagliano are really in the world, along with Susan Simard, like the pioneers in the study of plant intelligence and communication. And this scientific way to look at our relationship with plants, scientific but also spiritual, especially for Monica, is really a part of something of what makes our courses quite unique. So moving on, there are many experiences behind the courses, and the first one started in 2009, and this was really the first. So you can see my apple tree still here, a bit smaller than the previous picture. It was a long ago. This was really the first experiment where I tried to see how can I work with other people around this different way of relating with ourselves and with nature. So this was the experiment. I tried some things, they worked, and 10 years later, here is a photo from one of the workshops of the Nature Coaching Academy. And then again, it keeps evolving and changing. Also thanks to, when I started, I was like kind of a lonely pioneer with a very few scattered over the world, like 2 or 3 other people. We were trying to speak about the possible connection between nature and coaching, but it was really in Converge when I spoke at the International Congress of the International Coaching Federation. It was just me and Anna Marie Watson, who's still very active with her Coaching Outdoors podcast, which I really recommend listening to because there's a wealth of treasures around coaching and nature. So we were like just us and a few other pioneers at the time, and now there is really like a forest of people exploring and experimenting. So it's a movement that's growing and it's exciting and beautiful. the TED talk I gave with James Farrell, and the second one I gave a couple of years ago in Milan on the power of slowing down in synergy with nature. The articles that have been published on ecosomatic coaching intended as a paradigm shift in coaching. And the other articles, all these things you will find in the handout linked to their related resources. So if you want, you can go and access them. Until now, the movement is so empowered and spreading all over the world that there is a festival for the third edition this year in the UK. In June, we are going to meet with also Paola Fabbri, who will offer a wonderful workshop. She will tell you more in a few minutes. So Henley Business School, one of really the big business schools in the UK, offer for the third time this festival with people and coaches from all over Europe and beyond. Someone always is coming also from the United States or the Middle East and so on. So it's a place to meet, connect, speak, reflect, and share and do workshops exactly around coaching and nature, coaching in, with, and for nature. So fast forward 2026, after about 2 years of sabbatical, because in 2023, 4, yeah, the last cohort, the last complete cohort I have trained ended in I think January 2024, if I don't go wrong. And then I was really, really exhausted after so much. And all the rest of my work because I'm not just a coach educator, I'm also a coach, a team coach, and I work as a trainer and facilitator on leadership and teamwork. So I have that work, and I also have my coaching education work. So these past 2 years have been spent really rethinking and redesigning also the layout of the courses. And starting from this year, we will be integrating more trainers, among whom you will find also Paola Fabbri and Sara, who are here with us today, but also others like Azzurra, and Claudia and Chiara. They all trained with us and found beautiful ways to integrate all this in their work. And then we have mentors and Wildman, Arnaldo Savorelli, Simone Ciocca, a biologist, Nicola Castelli, he's a mindfulness trainer. So a very, very wide, rich, and diverse set of competencies distributed among our trainers and mentors. Some of our coaches have beautiful faces, yeah, so this is another photo from our workshops, another incredible moment at sundown. And so here we are ready to launch a new course structure, which I am about to describe. The result of 5 years co-creating with all the students and the places that we have visited, all in Italy, because so far we have just done workshops in Italy, and it makes sense. So how are we doing so far before we move to the next step? What is emerging inside of you? What do you think about these things I shared? Any keyword that was particularly made you particularly interested or curious? Anything you would like to share in the chat? How are we doing so far? And do you have any connection with the things I'm sharing? Like, yes, I'm exploring as well this aspect, or yeah, I have this experience of special ecological friend I have. Let's see if somebody wants to share in the chat. Or open your mic and speak. That would be awesome. Please, yes, Cynthia.
So I was just thinking about two different trees that have taught me things
Ah,
kind of in the way of metaphor. And I'm very interested in metaphor and nature and coaching and whether there's a combination there. But yeah, it's interesting. I've had some interesting experiences in that way.
Hmm. Yeah, and it's amazing how much trees appear so much in these stories of how we get insights or useful wisdom for our topics. Trees, it's for me, it's and I know Monica Gagliano would approve what I'm saying. It's like trees want to help us. Trees are there and want to be included in our thought processes somehow. So because it really strikes my curiosity because it seems like it's the beings that are are felt as more inspiring in current times.
I wonder if we should be included with them instead, since they're our
Yeah.
ancestors. Yeah.
Yeah. Stefano Mancuso, which I mentioned, has written one of his books is called Plant Revolution. And he says that the next stage of human evolution would be to really resemble more plant thinking and plant behavior rather than, even though we are animals, but it would be really interesting. And Monica Gagliano speaks about refining the plantness in us. And we have genes in our genome that come from plants. So, yeah, for example, the some of the genes that are related with the view, the sense of view, are the same as the ones we find in the plants. So there is an evolutionary line that connects us with plants, of course. So Lisa says plant intelligence really resonated with me because I always felt like trees are my wise guides. Voila, what we were saying. Katie, scary, but a fantastic scary. Ah, okay. Like I really need to figure out how to do this now. Hmm. Well, you can try to experiment with the closely available ecological friend. I mean, that's how I started, just by curiosity and doing my explorations for many years. Um, Originally, I was thinking about doing it as a second level, but now I don't want to wait. Oh, thank you. How nice. It was lovely to hear about your connection with nature and see pictures of your mentors like the apple tree that resonated deeply. Yeah, thank you. Very interesting to listen to how it all evolved and the connection with certain trees and places in nature that you described resonated a lot. Thank you a lot for this resonance. It's beautiful to acknowledge that. Yeah, I think really nature wants to be a part of our ways of being and thinking. So let's do it. So a bit about our philosophy and. Joanna Macy, the famous American ecologist, said the global crisis is, in its essence, a crisis of perception. There can be no technological fix, but only a revolution in the way we perceive ourselves and our relationship with the earth. Other scientists say we have never known so much about the damage we are causing to the planet, and we haven't done anything to stop that over the past 40 years. So the thing is not that we don't know enough because we have all the data and the information we need. The thing is that we don't feel and perceive enough, and that we are in such a very different state of being and mind that it seems like we are separate from our environment, and this creates this anthropocentric way of living, which ends up destroying the very resources we depend upon and the very living beings that we are interconnected with, and we are a part of a web of life. And if you change any aspect of this web of life, you are changing everything that is a part of that web of life. So another way to talk about this is a statement. This is the title of an article by Arianna Huffington that I found, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. Burnt out people are burning the planet was the exact article. I think you still can Google it and read it. And this is a correlation that I am listening to more and more in the various trainings that I'm still doing with professors who correlate how the stress we live and we feel creates a certain way of thinking and being that prevents long-term thinking and complex thinking and the ability to embrace complexity and look at the challenges that we find ourselves in current times from a holistic perspective, with a holistic way of thinking and seeing things, which is exactly what we need, because you cannot solve a complex problem like the polycrisis, the social, the spiritual, and the ecological crisis with a simplified approach. There is no technological fix, like Joanna Macy was saying, but just a shift in our perception. So we need, like Otto Scharmer says, we need to change the inner place. He says, shift the inner place from which we operate to be able to let a different world emerge, a world that can be more fair for all living beings, not just humans, and that provides care for the health and the life and the rights of every living being and not just humans. So to let a different world emerge, we need a different internal state. And this is exactly what we needed to enable and activate, and what is my personal mission to do. And in my experience, when I connect with nature, yes, of course, when we look at nature, nature is beautiful and it provides this perception of awe and beauty and magnificency and a sense of reverence, which is something that then leads me into, if I bask enough in that state, if I savor it enough, then something inside of me connects on an affective level. So it's not just appreciation of the beauty, the perfection, and everything nature is of beautiful, but then something turns into an affective state, which for me is love. A state where something inside here goes boof, and that's where I feel that a relationship is established. In the workshops, I often say, like, I plug into nature. It's like we are now really connected on an electric level, on an energetic level. And that in those states, I perceive the subjectivity of the tree, of the river, of the mountain, of the landscape. And something stops being something and starts being someone. And I feel this belonging and this interbeing, like Thich Nhat Hanh would say and call it, the famous Buddhist monk and teacher. So this for me is really like the end state that it's beautiful to look after. This state of being really feeling, not just knowing, because if we are a little aware, we may perceive that we are a part of the natural world, but thinking about this and feeling it and really sensing it through the body that we are a part of, that's where something regarding our ethics changes. And it's about reconnecting with the natural inner compass that we share with the rest of life, not just humans. So re-enchanting our connection with nature, and that's where poetry comes in. So how can we reestablish this poetic relationship with the places that are a part of our lives, and really change our inside from that? I will just read these reflections that I was doing last week as a way to come to a close on this topic. Quiet, calm, and serenity are emotions that we most frequently perceive when we are with nature. For me, they're not just beautiful emotions that make life better, but also true values to nurture. Because when we feel this way, something inside us ignites, becomes clearer, kinder towards ourselves and others. There is like a release, an internal release. We let go of control and a certain kind of always there tension. That's how we become more in touch, more in tune, more connected, more understanding and wiser. We gain clarity in those states, and we access innovative and creative perspectives when looking at our issues. It is in these states of deep connection inside out that we receive answers, solutions, and guidance, because our nervous system, this is key. This is really the foundation of a different perspective on our topics and on how we perceive ourselves and others. Regulating our nervous systems, allowing ourselves to zoom out, allowing us to reconnect with our natural ethical compass, which we share with the rest of life. This is the essence of our being as coaches at the Nature Coaching Academy, facilitating the transition into these expanded states of awareness for ourselves and our clients, facilitating the emergence of new visions and actions so we can move in a more integrated and aligned way with who we truly are and with a natural ethical principles that support life in all its forms: personal life, community life, and ecological. So it's more about unlearning how to be, how to behave, and remembering how to be human. Because human is a word that comes from humanus, humus in ancient Latin, and humus is the fertile soil. So being human is belonging to the soil. So there is this perception that alienation for me comes from disconnecting from the land, disconnecting from the soil, from the earth. And so the cure for alienation that gives rise to urban violence, social violence, depression, and being against each other, and refusing to appreciate diversity and so on, many of the things that we see in the society in around us. So all this, I think, can be healed by reconnecting with nature and with nature's wisdom, which is our wisdom. It's just that we forgot. So it's more about unlearning and relearning. So all this turns into a personal growth journey where the focus in our courses is on finding our body as an aspect of nature, as an aspect of the greater body of our planet, like Andrea Olsen says, feeling at one with nature, awakening our sense of interbeing and interbelonging, because it's in those states that we get to be, actually, in my experience, better human. Better Diana is in those states. So this is my embodied lived experience of myself. And so practicing ecosomatic states of consciousness, learning how to perceive the ecosoma continuum, so these inexistence of boundaries or separations between us and the greater body of the planet, leads to this personal growth. Then what we offer is not just that, even though the personal growth is foundational to the professional growth, because for the same metaphor of the container that I shared at the beginning, who we are becomes how we coach, how we lead, how we relate with anybody. So professional growth comes from also engaging with ourselves in a different way. And so all our courses are always about the interconnection between personal and professional. And so the courses we offer are split basically like this. We focus on ecosomatic coaching in individual sessions with the ICF accredited program in ecosomatic coaching. And we focus on deep nature connection integrated with a coaching mindset and coaching competencies for group experiences in the forest and nature coaching learning journeys. So these are the main differences between the various learning experiences we offer. So the personal growth, the professional growth, and really the scope for me is collective growth, relearning. This is again my tree, and this is the end of the experience, the first nature coaching experience experiment in 2009. That's how it ended after a couple of hours. I don't know, it's such a beautiful photo. I always like to mention that experience. So it's about refining ourselves all together as a species, with a new way of living with this planet. So it's about cultural repair, social healing, social enabling, nurturing the social field. Nurturing the relational network, just like in the soil, we have so much diversity and relationships, so we can do that in our extended relational fields as well, reestablishing our natural connections. Yeah, so this is some keywords. Again, these are some keywords that are really the anima, the soul of our journeys. To support the emergence of a new paradigm based on spiritual, collective, and ecological repair. And it's urgent and we need it. And this is how we have decided to work on the climate crisis, changing the mindsets, changing the practices that we do, and changing a bit our lifestyle, even not just a bit, because it's urgent and the earth is calling for fast responses on our behalf. And moving towards the end, just a recap of some of the guiding principles, guiding practices that you will find spread all over the various courses. Nature is always a subject. It's not a thing, an object, or a background of incredible human things and endeavors. It's a subject. Just like we are looking at a tree, that tree is looking at us. And this is an evidence-based affirmation. Just like we sense the ground underneath our feet, so the ground is sensing ourselves. And so part of the training is really aimed at reestablishing this sense of reciprocity, so that we can refine ourselves in the extended network of the relationship that we are just a small part of. Every place has an inner life, a profound identity, which we call the genius loci. That's the wording that our ancestors, at least my ancestors, I don't know about yours, but being in Italy, my ancestors are the ancient Romans, and they had this wonderful way of describing the spirit of a place, which is the genius loci, the genius, the spirit, the identity of a place. Then we lost it, like many wonderful traditional indigenous ways to understand nature. But we can use that word again because it makes sense. So nature. Then the body carries an organic knowing that activates as soon as we listen. It's always there. It's just that we don't listen. We are too busy, distracted, digitally driven. So as soon as we turn our attention inwards and we offer an ear, our body starts to speak. And this process, this organic knowing, amplifies when we consciously connect it with the intelligence of nature. From this interrelation arises ethics, a natural consequence of a different expanded state of consciousness. So, made of deep connection between body and nature in a state of contemplation. Contemplative practices awaken a sense of belonging, unity, and interbeing between our body, the great body of the earth, and all its inhabitants. So, compared to other schools or trainings or courses, our focus is really on embodied nature connection, because in my experience, in my philosophy, the first and foremost disconnections happens inside here, between me, what I think I am, myself and my body. So I am a body. What my body is experiencing is what I am experiencing, because I've never seen, I don't know about you, but I've never seen a human being alive without a body. So the body is really how we experience the world and how we make sense of the world, how the world enters into us through our senses. So it's an organ of sense, the whole body, not just the organs of sense, but the whole body is an organ of sense making. So my background as a dance movement therapist, I never cite it really, because I never label myself a dance movement therapist. I think I do it all the time without people acknowledging that, because coaching feels more cool, and perhaps it's even a more trendy word other than a dance movement therapist. But in fact, that's one of my earliest achievements, and one of my longest trainings, professional trainings as well. And in that training, for me, which was really foundational, I really got to experience the body as my organ of sense making. And these are the three roots of ecosomatic coaching: nature connection, embodiment, and contemplative practices. Here they are. Okay, so this is really the essence of what we teach and practice. And I underscore practice, because our courses are not about listening to webinars, period, or, I don't know, reading something. I mean, you can do it, but you will not learn what ecosomatics is. Practice is the really the how we learn, experiencing ourselves. Practicing means repeating even the same practices over time. And so if a person is just looking for a piece of paper with certified something written upon it, this is not the place to come, because practicing and being engaged with learning is essential. And if a person enrolls in our courses, but then there is no progress in how the person experiences and perceives herself and the others, and the relationship with the planet, we do not issue certificates, honestly, because it would not make sense. So usually this always happens because practicing feels good, is good and beautiful, and it's exactly what we want to learn. So far, everybody who joined our courses completed the courses. But there's a trend, there's a dangerous trend happening, which is aimed at really just having a kind of certificate for something. And people are less and less willing to do things in person and with their bodies and actually experiencing things. So this is a trend that I'm noticing, and we are not supporting that trend, let's say. Then the other aspect of our work is, of course, coaching, which is the approach, which I love, because it's based on not knowing, it's based on curiosity, it's based on building this fabric of mutual trust between you and the people you work with. So I think it's really a wonderful job, a wonderful profession, a wonderful way to be with people, even outside of a certain professional label. Coaching for us, it's more a mindset and a way of being. So in the coaching process, body, earth, and place are are partners of the conversation, of the experience, and the ecosomatic approach helps the coaching relationship to move beyond words, more into deep presence, deep listening, some lot of silence, practicing in a way that aligns with the core coaching competencies and the coaching code of ethics of the International Coaching Federation, but practicing accessing these different states of being to support the emergence of ideas for progress. And this sense of ethics, which we already shared. So learning to perceive the subjectivity of the natural world and its inner life, for me, in our philosophy, is an existential goal. If we do so, our lives are enriched with meaning and perspective. Meaning and perspective are the heart of happiness and personal fulfillment, like science says. A strong sense of belonging, and affiliation in the web of life is ignited, and these are um, um, human needs, foundational human needs, the need to belong. And we dispel that feeling of isolation and loneliness that pervades capitalist society based on the systematic depletion of human and ecological resources and the alienation between people and nature. This is a fundamental critique of the capitalist society, as I have studied with Andy Fisher, the creator of radical eco-psychology. And so this aspect of revisiting how we live, what we have created as a Western society is really part of a shift in our mindsets, which is also a part of the process that we offer. So like looking critically to what we are doing and not give it for granted anymore, and considering the harm it has caused and is causing, and finding new ways. This is all new adventures because a new world needs to happen, but we don't know how, but we can work on it together. And it's part of the journey of social impact that we want to foster. We aim to spread this different, deeper way of being with ourselves, others, and the planet, impacting individuals and groups in all kinds of contexts, because this is how we lay the foundations for a different future, one that is more just, fair, respectful, and capable of nourishing the generosity of nature and life. So this is the container that contains the various learning journeys. And this is the last part of this presentation. Then we will listen to our guests, Paola and Sara. So if you are here, I think perhaps you are also on the priority list where we spread the news about upcoming programs, the new brochures. I know that the brochures are really extended. It's really a body of pages, which is really consistent, I know, but we have created those brochures. Okay, first, there are a lot of photos from our workshops, so that makes them a wonderful document to review because somehow the photos really transfer the feeling of what the workshops are and the experiences are. And then there is all the information regarding the detailed content and the logistics and so on. So I know it's a very huge document, but please, if you're considering enrolling in any course, please read that because it contains everything you need to know. And then, of course, we are always available at via email at welcome@naturecoaching.net for any additional question. But usually those brochures are really exhaustive. So from this year, we have organized our courses in a seasonal learning cycle to really give this natural rhythm and pace to our teachings and synchronize ourselves and the teachings to the various seasons. So we are starting with the Ecosomatic Coaching Foundations course, and next week we have the first monthly webinar on Monday. On Monday, also the online area with self-paced contents for you to watch and the audio guides to practice and the workbooks will be there by Monday. But a person can enroll even after that. So from March to June, we will have this course running. The monthly webinars are always recorded and placed in this private online area with all the courses materials. And so this is the introduction where we practice everything I said so far on ourselves. So Ecosomatic Coaching Foundations is the preparatory course to attend any other course because it's the work on ourselves that needs to be integrated before thinking about offering the ecosomatic approach in group settings with the nature and forest coaching certificates, which both comprise 40 hours online. Again, monthly webinars and self-paced content to review in these different seasons, spring, summer for the nature coaching certificate. That's focused on our framework of the 8 natural archetypes, a framework that we have created to package some core themes and topics that really resonate between humans and nature. And so we have organized our relationship with nature with this framework of the 8 natural archetypes. So the desert and light. Let me see if I have the slide for that. Here it is. Yeah. So this is like a compass where we have organized the natural archetypes according to a certain order in this wheel. So desert and light, the earth, the fertile soil, waters, the tree and the forest, the mountain, the sky, the volcano, and the great void. Void is a philosophical term that is used in Eastern philosophy to describe the fertile emptiness, the silence before speech can emerge, the not doing, not knowing. It's like the state of nirvana. It's the state of emptying our mind and really connecting to source. I say this because I know that in English, void is sometimes a scary word, like a not so good word, but in the way we conceive it, it's more in the philosophical way of this organic knowing and the wonder and the awe that is associated to it. So the nature coaching course is focused on getting to know everything we have packed around these 8 natural archetypes, which are a constellation of experiences and meanings that interconnect us with the planet, with nature. So back to our learning cycle and learning seasons. Again, preparatory course, then you can choose if you want to work with groups, one or this or both. Most of the people who trained with us have done everything you see in this drawing, and like all the courses, I think 90% of them. Because I think it created a kind of addiction, because once you start practicing and find yourself with your tribe, then it's beautiful to keep the connection going until you can. And in the courses, you will very likely meet people from previous cohorts because they just like to repeat the courses. And so it may happen if you join. And then in autumn, we have the Ecosomatic Coaching Training, the level 1 ICF accredited. As soon as I end the launch of the English and Italian edition of the Ecosomatic Coaching Foundations, I will start submitting, creating and then submitting the request for these courses too in group coaching. To have the continuous coaching education units from the ICF, so that I will have at the end the level 1 ICF accredited professional coach training program with the ecosomatic approach, and these courses as CCUs. For those of you who are already ICF coaches, attending this course and the Ecosomatic Coaching Foundations course also leads to a partial completion certificate of the level 1 course. So for the number of hours that you will attend, either the 20 hours online foundations or the extended course in ecosomatic coaching, you can get a certificate of completion. Partial completion for the level 1 ICF accredited course, for core coaching competencies, the number of hours that you have attended. So this is a kind of accredited for those who are already coaches but don't want to go through the whole journey. So there is the bridge program, which is a reduced version of this whole course, which doesn't comprise the exam and the coaching gym and so on. So just it's a shorter version. So basically, after the Ecosomatic Coaching Foundation's 20 hours, if you want to complete the nature coaching journeys, you will need to go through a workshop. And this year, we are offering either a 5 days workshop in Camonica Valley in the Alps at the end of August, or you can split these 5 days workshop in two different workshops happening in October and in March next year, 2.5 days each. So for the forest coaching and nature coaching certificate, the route is Ecosomatic Coaching Foundation, a workshop, and then the last portion of the program is online, 40 hours. For one and for the other one, the same. Ecosomatic Coaching Foundation, a workshop, 5 days, either all together or in two different workshops, and then the last 40 hours completely online. The forest coaching happens in winter. Okay. And if you want to go through the level 1 professional coach training course, Ecosomatic Coaching Foundations, the workshop, again, 5 consecutive days or two workshops, 2.5 days each. And then the last portion of the program happens online in a reduced form for those who are already coaches, and in the complete form, 64 hours online for those who want to get the level 1 ICF accredited coach training diploma. Last, I just want to share some photos. These come from the workshop that will be given again at the end of August in the Alps. Amazing places and really beautiful experiences. And the mountain in our approach is really the best coaching teacher, because the experience we have with the mountain is really how we can experience coaching. These are instead photos from the workshops that will happen in along River Adda and in the pre-Alps of Lessinia. So again, amazing places. And so these are again some photos from these experiences. And hopefully next year we plan of doing a 5 days workshop in person in the wonderful volcanic island of Ischia. And so these again are other photos from previous workshops, and we hope to see you there in one of these wonderful occasions. And I also have some photos. These are like coaching gyms where we learn how to coach in deep synergy with body and the nature in various ways. This is a coaching session. How incredible is that? This is a coaching session. These are all coaching sessions. And we can also do that online. So that's also a portion of the program. And as a thank you for attending this webinar, you will also get via email in the next tomorrow, basically, a special 15% discount, which you will be able to use until next week. Perhaps I'm extending a little bit this deadline, so you have a bit more time to think about if you want to join or not. And of course, as I said, I hope to meet you in the UK, also with Paola Fabri, which will now speak in my place. And Paola, how would you like to introduce yourself and who you are and what you do and anything you would like to share with this wonderful group of people?
Wow. Well, I am one of the people that started by saying I'll just do one workshop and ended up doing absolutely everything because I fell in love with everything that Diana does. So it's really has been an amazing journey for me. Rich, really changed the way I relate with nature. So I've always been very much connected with nature, but really um, gave me a completely different perspective and changed my relationship. And I think the practice of the course is really what makes a difference because it's really about taking the time to deepen and develop that relationship with the world outside. And really seeing nature not as an object, but really a subject that you're interacting with for me, has been really the main shift in my word and my work and my way to relate with the world. And yeah, and I have been integrating these in my work. I am a trainer, facilitator, and now I'm a coach, so I'm also coaching. I can see the difference because I'm also sometimes using traditional in bracket coaching, and I see a big difference when I am coaching in nature with nature and when I'm using regular coaching online. I think there is a very, very big difference in how powerful the coaching with nature is. Uh, and then I am also an artist. So one of the things that I've been able to do is to integrate also these perspective, this relationship with nature in my painting process. A lot of I was really surprised in a way to see how much I have assimilated what Diana was saying because it's really become so much part of my mindset. I didn't even remember that some concepts were coming from the course, but it's just become so much part of me, all of this. So it's really amazing. But one of the things that I took from this new relationship with nature is really the capacity of listening. And for me, these have been integrated also in my art. So it's I created the ecosomatic painting practice, which is really a painting practice that you develop in collaboration with nature. So is not a performative act. It's something that allows you to explore, to expand your senses, and to use art as another tool to increase your awareness and explore your relationship with nature. And this is the workshop that I will bring to Henley in June. So yeah, it's been a wonderful journey. That's all I can say.
Thank you, Paula. I really hope somebody will be curious and come to meet you and experience ecosomatic painting, which you will also facilitate at the end of May. May, right? Yes, at the Woods Festival in Camonica Valley in Borno, the same place that will host the end of August workshop. We'll also host the workshop, this festival. It's the Festival of the Woods. It's organized by the Sun Plateau, a synergy between 5 different towns in Val Camonica. And there are going to be workshops, one with Paula as well, which will be all about connecting her work with ecosomatic painting and the local strong Paleolithic remnants, because there are specific rock carvings depicting ancient sun rituals in the area. And so Paula will support the participants of her workshop in connecting themselves through poetry with the land and with this ancient history that the land still contains, right? Did I describe? Okay, in
Yeah,
English.
perfect.
Okay, thank you. Sometimes, you know. So if you want, you can also come at the end of May, between the 29th of May and the 2nd of June. In Italy, it's also a holiday, so it's really easy. And we have forest bathing experiences, talks with authors of books about mountains and woods, and scientific speeches, and wonderful hikes in discovering the genius loci of the Sun Plateau, which is where the experience happens. But now let's listen to Sara Marzo, the other side of Italy. How would you like to introduce yourself, your work?
Hi everyone. I'm so excited. I don't know where to start because there are so many things I could say. And yeah, so I'm come from the very south of Italy, southeast, where the sun rises first, I love to say, in the peninsula Puglia, Salento land. And in the path of the in my life, I came across with this school, Ecosomatic Coaching and the Nature Coaching Academy, and finally it made sense because I work with youth. I'm a youth worker and project coordinator. So I was familiar with an educational approach, non-formal education, reflection approach, but I didn't know a lot about coaching. And at the same time, in my personal life, I had mindfulness. I practiced a lot with a monk ordered by Thich Nhat Hanh. I was in Plum Village, so there was this, mindfulness in my life. And also in project, I started to do mindfulness and nature projects, but something was missing. And then the Nature Coaching Academy came, and the ecosomatic approach finally made sense, connecting all the dots of my path. And personally, I can say, a transformation, an inner transformation, because it is about understanding your inner nature. Yeah, so it is, I understood a lot about myself in this path, being a coachee and being a coach also, and also with my mates in the school. And then at the same time, somehow I deepened more and more this, and I transformed also my job. I see here two familiar phrases, Vladimir. It was one of the volunteers we sent abroad, and then a participant in a project. So I use, for example, coaching now when I do evaluation with the volunteers when they come back to assess their learning. Or I see also maybe still there Eleni, my colleague. We are doing an ecosomatic a project about ecosomatic for green aging. And hi Eleni, we had a group of people from Lithuania and Greece last weekend in Puglia, adults over 55 and adult educators, and bringing this into a new way of inhabiting the world, the relationship with nature, and all that Diana said was applied and turned out to be very, transformational and deep for people, even with the language barrier and it access to say. And I did coaching in school as well, so it opened another door, to bring coaching in school, even in a formal setting, but still bringing a bit embodiment. How do you feel? The relationship with nature outside the window, educational material. I can I can talk for hours. But just to say that it is a very good way to unlock the potential of people, especially the inner nature, and to see how you can be in tune with the outer nature to find out there is no separation at the end. So yeah, I hope I gave you a bit of the taste of the nature path.
Absolutely, thank you, Sarah. And also, if you want to discover more about how they integrate ecosomatics with painting for Paula, with self-reflection and poetry for Sarah, and other things, well, they will be part of the trainers team as well for the Ecosomatic Coaching Foundation's journey. So it's yeah, for me the first time I really open the team to other persons. So far, it's been all on my shoulders, but it was really time to extend and amplify the content through other voices. So I'm really excited about this. And it's not just them, it's also Claudia Antonelli. I like to call her, I'm not sure she likes it, but I think she likes it because she's really like that, the fairy of music. She's also one of our trained coaches, and she's a teacher at school, so she works in education, and she really brought coaching as well in Italy, where she lives in the Marche, a region in central Italy. And she is really bringing coaching to the students and to the teachers in her school. And she is always fully booked at the beginning of the year until the end of the year. So an outstanding, amazing result that she achieved with her light-hearted way to really show up and engage others with her work, both as a teacher and a musician. So she will bring into the Nature Coaching Academy, even in the online monthly webinars, the spirit of music. And she will be a part of those self-reflective moments, filling with her heart and melodies, and really supporting us all to create a different learning space with more self-tuning and more connection across the borders of the tools and the devices that we use. So she will be also a part of that. And also Azzurra, she's not here with us, but she is, this redesign of the courses really came out of very long, I would say 2 years, redesign process that I did with Azzurra. You will also have her as a teacher in the Ecosomatic Coaching Foundations course. She will bring her knowledge about positive psychology in coaching, something she's completing a master's on this topic in an English university. And so she will also be a part of the trainers team. And what else did I want to say? Yeah, I just wanted to mention that now the programs have, I think, are optimized. And just think that the first cohort, the first wolf pack, the pioneers, I call them, because they were like, okay, there is this new thing called coaching with nature. And at the time, I was also teaching a lot of forest bathing, how to lead forest bathing experiences. It all started with that. So they were the pioneers. It was 25 persons, or six, the first cohort, and they did something like 350 or 390 hours of training, which seems like a lot, but it was like, it was beautiful. And in just 6 years or 7 years, it seems like 400 hours. No, I can't do that. It's too long. I just want something very short and fast. But yeah, it made sense. Then the next cohorts were a bit shorter, but I think again in the range of, I'm not sure about Paula and Sarah, but I think not less than 200 hours, I think. Because there were a lot of like 4 workshops, 3 days each, and then the 5 days workshop. So now we have packaged things a bit. Something that I want to clarify is also that for each learning track, you need a 5 days workshop. So if you attend one 5 days workshop, it's valid for one track. You decide which one, but the forest, the nature, or the ecosomatic. But if you want all the routes, it's in total 15 days in person. It can be even just one workshop per year, but it's because exactly what Sarah was saying, and also Paula, because it's the practice and it's revisiting the content and it's really integrating in the body, and this requires time. We have trained ourselves into this disconnected way to perceive ourselves and our bodies for years, for decades. Looking at you all, it seems like we all have some more than just 1 decade of life on our shoulders. So we have trained ourselves for decades into disconnection and we need time to unlearn and relearn and retrain ourselves into connection. And the group process is something that just online learning, group in-person process is something that just online learning really cannot replicate. It's not possible. It's not human. It's okay, and we do a lot of things. And usually the online journeys are for so what happens in the online is learning here, practicing also as well, self-connection, but then we are all, in our own individual places. So the online serves the purpose of creating these spaces for learning, practicing, and sharing. But then when we are together as a group, that's when the real magic happens, because nature collaborates with the group, not just with you practicing on your own with the audio guides or with your own creativity. Because always the idea for me is that we give you some criteria and guidelines to reshape how you perceive yourself and nature. And then through practice, you invent your own. And every time I stay with nature, like every day, I invent new practices, because once you know the criteria, then it's the shared fabric of relationship that gives way to new practices and new ideas. So this is how rich this journey can be. Some criteria and guidelines for then you to integrate, and a lot of background and theory as well, which I described, so that then you can integrate all that into your own, into all the richness that you already are and have as a person, as a professional. So this is something that we really always encourage. How can you make your own the contents that we share, so that what we offer can be really enriched by everything you already are and have. So we still have some minutes. Do you have questions, or you can unmute or write in the chat? Any question or comment? Something that was not clear?
I have a question.
Yeah.
I saw on the website that like to complete the courses and get the accreditation, you need to participate in at least 80% of the, say, the lessons, the activities.
Or complete the journaling after watching the recording.
Okay, so if that day, I mean, for when it's like when there are webinars and things like this, you can just see the recording and
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah, and then usually after, okay, so after every week we release content with a certain pace. It's really well distributed over the 3 months. So, but we encourage to keep the pace, because otherwise you arrive at the end and you have to watch hours of content. It's not advised. So you can keep your pace. And if you miss, the webinars are only one per month, and it's 2 hours. If you miss one of those, you can just complete the journaling. We provide you the prompts after every webinar. We provide some prompts for self-reflection. You complete that, and so to prove that you have watched the recording, and that's it. Yeah.
And the course of the fundamentals will start the next week.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So like, sorry, I'm still in time to register. Yes.
Yes, we will keep the registrations open during all the 3 months. because we have the online area where people can watch the recording. So it's just a matter of, and we will postpone. I haven't communicated that, but you will see that in the email. I will postpone the possibility to use the discount code until mid-April because, okay, I have been very late in advertising all these as usual, like promotions and advertising is like last minute when the course is starting because basically my life is intense. But that said, you can ask any other participant when the course starts, there are no delays. Okay, so the delays are mainly in you email me, Eleni is here and knows I have an email standing from 2 days in my reply to alerts. But we are mainly late in getting back to emails before the course starts. And when the course starts, anybody can tell you no delays ever. I'm saying this because perhaps among you there are more than one people who still have emails I need to get back to, but we always arrive sooner or later. So yeah, we are not the best in pre-course communication, let's say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, so you will have it until mid-April to use the discount code to, really evaluate, assess. If you need more information, email me. Now, this was the last webinar, so we will have more time starting from next week, and we will be on time with you all. If you want to email us, there is me, there is Ambra, so we are on track finally. Okay. Anybody else? Okay, let me see. How does it work if you do level 1 and do the last in-person sessions in March 2027, but the third trunk and exam finishes in December of 2026? Okay, so yeah, makes perfect sense. So the idea for us is for you to participate in the workshops to have an in-person embodied experience of the practices. So that we can build on that during the course that happens in autumn for the Ecosomatic Coaching Foundations. So at least you have started to grasp in an embodied way what we then practice in the online course. So the March workshop is like a completion. Even after you have done the exam, that doesn't impact the outcome. It's just 2.5 days less of practice together. But the essence that you get from being a part, even in just 2.5 days workshop, is what we build upon during the course that happens in autumn. So it doesn't impact your ability to successfully complete the course. Okay, so if you have any other question,
I would like
I have a
to.
question.
Alina
I would
and also
to
another person. So let's go. Alina, just a sec. If you have if other people who don't have question need to go, you can get. I will stay for the people who have questions, and you can watch my replies in the recording that you will receive. So in case you have to go, we love you anyway because we are a bit over, but I can stay as long as people need. And please, Alina.
Yes, first of all, I would like to say that I'm more than excited, overexcited for everything that you shared yourself, Diana and Paola and Sarah. I was like uh, enjoying every word, and I don't know, I'm just fascinated that there is such a course that gets together arts and auto charmer and Buddhism and biology and science, and it's I have explored each of these directions, and I have finally found something that gets everything together. I've been looking for something like this, and I'm very happy. I work in nature conservation myself for 20 years. I've been through burnout working in nature conservation, if you can imagine this, because so much of it means desk work and working with people and not necessarily being outdoor. Yes, I just wanted to say that I really enjoy what you're doing, and it's just a matter of when I will join the course. And my question is if this first foundation coaching module stands in itself, or it also needs to be fulfilled by a workshop or something.
No, that's one of the news of this new layout and course structure. We wanted to have like a taster for people to really see if this thing is for them or not.
Great.
It's 20 hours. It's packaged as a solo course, preparatory, because again, it's about applying the ecosomatics on your journey. So it's all about going deeper into the foundations that I described today, and also practicing a lot, sharing during the monthly webinars. We will also try to set up budding pairs so that you have another person in the course to share your experiences with.
Lovely.
No, it doesn't require any. If you don't want to go on, that's it. And you get for the participation in the Ecosomatic Coaching Foundations course, there is again a partial certificate. A certificate of partial completion for the level 1 ICF course for 20 hours. And for who's already a coach, that is valid for 20 core coaching competencies, continuous education hours. I'm just saying this in case somebody's listening to the recording and is an ICF coach.
Yes, and this is also discounted, as you mentioned.
Yeah. So it's
okay. So if I want to start, this is the very step that I need to take.
Yeah. It's $4.95, and for joining live, thank you so much, and you get
Thank you so much, everyone.
50% discount. You will get the code tomorrow. Okay, and thank you, Alina. And then Rachel. No, who was that? Yeah, okay. You need to unmute. Where is she? Oh, Rachel.
Is it working?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. We don't see you anymore. No, now we see you, but we don't hear you. Okay. Now we hear you, but we don't see you. But please tell us.
Sorry, yeah. I'm on my cell phone, and I don't really know how to do this on the cell phone. So
don't worry.
But I'm very excited as well. I've had 3 life coach courses so far, but they're not certified by the ICF.
Ah, okay.
And I was just wondering about you mentioned the route for life coaches that are already anyway, people that are already life coaches, right?
People who are already coaches, usually we ask that it's an ICF diploma, but I'm considering about extending that to EMCC and AICP, which is and AC as well, Association of Coaching in the UK, and the Italian Association for Coaching. So I'm thinking about extending that. To accredit your diploma, so you can access the bridge program, which is the reduced program. I would need to see exactly your diploma and how many hours and your course content, so that I can see if it compares to a standard ICF diploma. So you will need to send it to welcome@naturecoaching.net, your diploma, and if possible the content of your course, so we can check if that makes it possible for you to join the shorter route to the course. Yeah. Okay. I hope I was clear.
Yes. Okay, I'll try to work out the content, because it's not written anywhere, so I'll try to synthesize something for you.
Or the link to the website where they advertise the course, I don't know, something like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And what about the reduced path?
The reduced cost includes the Ecosomatic Coaching Foundations course, 20 hours completely online, starting next week. The 5 days in-person workshop in the various formulas that I described. And so the reduced program is then online in autumn, 40 hours, because it doesn't include the coaching gym to do with a pair, with another person. And it doesn't include the final exam. So the session that we review and the 3 hours individual mentoring. So it's all written in the brochures. If
Okay.
I will, with the email that I will send tomorrow, you can have a look. It's very well described and it's really detailed, all the content, the hours, the sessions, so the dates, the timings, it's all there, the price and everything.
Okay, good. Thank you very much.
Wonderful.
And thank you for holding this wonderful course. It's amazing.
Thank you so much. It makes me really happy.
Thank you.
The discount code Paulina will send you tomorrow. So it's like some letters that don't make sense. So I will send you by email tomorrow. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Paola and Sarah. I hope to meet all the other participants in one of our upcoming experiences, especially the in-person ones. And thank you so much for staying until now. And I'm really, really grateful to you all. Thanks a lot. Ciao from Italy. Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good night. Bye bye.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you. Ciao.
Ciao, bye bye. Ciao ragazze.